when you put the tires on the car. So there's a lot of questions to be answered in this session. And when the car goes faster, it's going to sit on those limiters and stops and things differently than what it does on the primary harder tire.
But I think you're going to have to take care of them too, Kevin. I think when you go out there, track position is going to dictate how you're able to take care of those tires. But if you can find a hole, hopefully, clean track ahead means you're leading this thing. And if you can do that, you can take care of those tires a little bit more. Not be so hard on the brakes, getting in the corners, not pulling the wheel quite so hard and scrub that tire off, because you're going to need it to last.
Now we know that McDowell, who is second fastest, and Nemechek, who is fourth, are on the option tire, as is Austin Dillon and Kyle Larson, who is not yet on the racetrack. They are sitting on pit road. Might be one or two more cars around the curve we can't see, but Larson is waiting to go out. Let's check with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, you talked about the softer and the harder tire, and there's three different agendas in this practice session right here. Stickers to stickers, brand new, see which tire is the fastest. The other thing is to see when the times cross over. The anticipation is somewhere around 30 laps. And then the other thing, Kevin mentioned it, there's going to be a balance change between the softer and the harder. If you go back to North Wilkesboro, the harder tire was looser. And speaking of Kyle Larson, they're waiting. They want to see some of this harder rubber go down before they go out on those soft, Jamie.
Hey, Larry Mack. Well, for the first time in 7 years, we have a woman behind the wheel of a Cup car. Catherine Legg making her first start. They're waiting right now for a few minutes. She has one of the most diverse fields backgrounds in motorsports. She actually was on the F1 trail in the early 2000s. She came over to America, ran in Champ Car, then Indy Car, 4 starts in the Indy 500. Sports cars, she's ran some Xfinity, she ran ARCA, she's done it all, but it's never been in a Cup car. I just talked to her before she hopped in. She said, honestly, I'm a little nervous. It'd be like these guys coming over and jumping in an Indy car, and they've never even sat in a race car. So it's a big game for Catherine Legg. And of course, Mike, it's International Women's Day. Perfect timing.
Well, of course it is. Thanks, Jamie, and welcome back. Good to have you back. The stats on Catherine Legg, who says this deal came together in just about the last 10 days. A lot of the Chevrolet teams have been helpful, particularly Childress and Collick, to her driving for BJ McLeod and Live Fast Motorsports here at Phoenix. She applied to NASCAR, said, I'd like to run Cup. What do I need to do? You need to start out on the short track. This is the first one of the year. And because of her recent experience in high-speed cars in a variety of disciplines, they have proved her to race here this weekend.
Riding along with Chris Buescher, 17 cars. Good track for Chris. Runs good here. It's good in both races last year. A little slip up there, loose, catching the car underneath of him, but no surprise here. Chris Buescher finds his car.
You see him reach down to shift up into high gear there in the fifth gear, downshift into fourth. You want to put that left front tire. That line is your friend. That left front tire, or as he's doing right here, going over the apron to try to help that car turn. Very different two ends of the racetrack as he goes into turn 3. Same thing. You want that left front tire pinned on that left front on that yellow line, because when you're on that yellow line, especially into turn 3, I was explaining to our drivers, is it's kind of like a trough. If you can get that left front tire hooked into that line, you can immediately let off the brake, go back to a little bit of partial throttle, and drive that car up the hill. And with these cars, Clint, you want to be heavy braking in the corner, bleed out of the brake, and immediately, when you're off the brake pedal, you need to be transferred right into the partial throttle to keep the front end turning on these cars.
Sounding like a fellow who's won here 8 or 9 times.
Mike, this place has been, it was fantastic to me throughout my career. I used to sit at the back gate. My grandpa, he would be sitting when we used to come across the straightaway back here. My grandpa was always the first one parked in his motorhome, and he'd wait for me every year as we'd come by in the Southwest Tour trailer or whatever I was racing that weekend. He always would bring his motorhome over here a month early. But for West Coast racers, this was kind of like your big race of the year.
Sure. Now here's Carson Hocevar. He is fastest in the first couple of laps of this session. And that's the red sidewall. That's the option tire, the soft tire.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, and you look at McDowell, find him and Buescher, Reddick, all 4 of your top 4. See if they're all in softs.
Meanwhile, some problems on Chase Briscoe's car. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, Chase ran 3 laps. He's 13th quickest. He complained about something in the left front of the left rear. Now, every car here essentially has the same brake package, but Clint and Kevin, you know what they do is they play with the compound of the brake pads. They put a softer right front pad than the left front to help the car turn on the braking, and that can cause some ill feelings in the brake package.
Well, the brake package is one thing that I always thought we had figured out better than everybody else as we watched Kyle Larson fire off on those softer red compound tires there. But the brake package, these cars, whether it's this car or the old car, whichever car you want, you do not want to be loose in the corner. So you'll stagger those brake pads so that you can really be aggressive with the braking getting in the corner and keep that car from getting loose, because any looseness here and not being able to turn the wheel to the left at the end of the first third part of that corner, you are in big trouble if you can't crank on the wheel.
Kyle Larson leading Ross Chastain here, who is 11th on the speed chart. And it looks like he is on the standard tire with the yellow sidewall lettering. A little hard to tell. Now, Michael McDowell, he is on the option tire. That car failed inspection twice, so they lose their car chief and they lose pit selection.
Yeah,
Sunday's race.
I like McDowell's strategy better than I do Hosevar's. We saw Hosevar come back in the pits, and I think he was probably sounds like he was doing a qualifying run. Hosevar was. So Michael McDowell is doing the work for the long run on these red tires, the softer tire, to see how far these tires will run and give them a good read. So when you have multiple cars on a team, you can have multiple strategies so that you have a better understanding of what you learn quicker.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. That's a strength in numbers conversation, and why you have 4-car teams. Send somebody out on something different and collectively get to the goal quicker.
So Joey Logano was on the primary tire. Last time he was here, he won the Cup championship here in Phoenix last November.
And Clint and I had a conversation about Joey Logano before we started practice, and he was awful in the first race last year, and came back to the second race and had a championship performance and won the race. So this is a pretty finicky racetrack. These are pretty cool conditions for when we come to Phoenix. It was cold and rainy, windy yesterday. It's been very sunny all day today. And when we started this practice, as we watched Tyler Reddick, when we started this practice, we saw Kyle Larson wait. I like that strategy. We had an ARCA race here last night. We had practice for the Xfinity cars before the Cup cars went on the racetrack. So to be able to get some of that rubber down on the racetrack, it's never as fast after the rubber gets down